and also spirituality. And there's three people came up. One is my mentor, teacher in my college, Ewha Women's University, which is the biggest women's university in the world. She's a professor at Ewha. And she taught me about what is the embodiment of unconditional love. This is like, her name is Chung. She's the only professor who came to see in prison when I was arrested in my political movement. And as soon as I got out of the prison, she took me to the best chicken soup place in Korea. And bought me this chicken soup. She didn't say a word at the time. Professors who are implicated in supporting radical students, they are also get caught. So she didn't say anything, and she just took me, hold my hands, and go to this chicken soup place and bought the biggest chicken soup, the best chicken soup in the restaurant, and just eat. And I was very, at the prison I become very weak. And she said just one word. Only when you take your power, bring your power up, God can also bring God's power up. Amen. So you have to empower yourself first. That's the way God can empower God's, and God will help you. That's the only thing what she said. And I didn't want to be a theologian. I want to be a philosopher. But she just, at the time I had this radical student leader as my lover, and he just said, you couldn't go to USA to study liberation theology. It is a betrayal to our people. The US really colonized our country. Why you want to go there and to study it? Because at the time when we studied liberation theology in Korea or read Marxism, we go to jail. There's no freedom of reading. So I tried to convince him that why I need to learn liberation theology in the long run, so I can contribute to the struggle of our people. But he didn't listen to me at all. Then this very professor, she was a single woman in her 60s, she invited both of us to our university. It is a snowy day. And she brought me to our big auditorium, like 5,000 people can go into that auditorium. Completely empty auditorium, and there's a snowstorm outside. And she took both of us to the auditorium, and she said, Kyung, you go up to the stage, in the middle of the stage, and stand. And she took the hand of my boyfriend, the lover, and she sat with him in the middle of the audience. And she said, young man, do you see this? This is a future of Korea. We need a woman spiritual leader who can empower Korean women. And I know she can do it. And can you be my friend so we can support her mission? And I was standing there by myself. And she said she will be the first woman theologian of liberation who will empower all these women in Korea. And he sat there and he started to cry. And that was the beginning of my journey to come to USA. So on the way home, he told me, I'm so jealous of you. There's no teacher like her in my life. But the way I need to surrender to her is because she sees through you and what you need to do in this life. And it is so crystal clear, I just cannot say any more words. So the Professor Chung, she was really like a mother for me, spiritual mother. And I didn't want to really be a scholar. I wanted to be an activist. And she said, you know, we have so many activists, but you can write. So please study and articulate what is the way we can see God who is empowering the women. You know, our whole connection with Reinhold Niebuhr, when Reinhold Niebuhr came to Korea, she raised her hand and she asked a question to Reinhold Niebuhr. Professor Niebuhr, why only men can ordain? You're a social ethicist. Please answer me. There is any ethical ground only men can be ordained. At that time, only men can be ordained. It is in the 1950s. And Reinhold Niebuhr told her at that time, she said, he couldn't see any ground. So in the future, women need to be ordained. So in a way, our ancestors, like her one action, I still remember that moment, this chicken soup, and she said, you have to empower yourself. That's the only way you can empower God, and God will help you. It just carried me until today, you know. And I look back, that was my shame of Tavares. Then second person was James Cone. When I came to Union, I studied in a very German tradition in Korea. So we read Karl Barth, the Church Dogmatics in German in Korea. So when I arrived here, American students look so ignorant. I already read Bultmann, Moltmann, Karl Barth, Paul Tillich in German. They don't have a clue who they are. You know, that is almost a theological colonization in Korea. We only real theology is German theology. So when I first came to Union, I tried to write the way I wrote in Korea. So I quote Pannenberg, I quote Bultmann, Barth, you know, Paul Tillich. I just want to show off how much I know. And James Cone read my first paper, and he called me, and he said, you have a lot of potential, so I'm telling you. You have a sin of profundity. You came from Korea, you're Korean women, and you talk like a German man. Why do you think this kind of theology will empower Korean women? And he told me, you have have to write what hurts you the most. That is the theology. And you have to write what is the power which takes you from that hurt into your empowerment, your joy. You discover that voice. That is theology. So I try to follow. And I try to look into what hurts me the most. And what is that power which transforms me so I'm not just a victim, this a hurt victim, but I have a power to transform that hurt into something so powerful. That was theology. And he said the liberation theology is not talking about non-believers. Liberation theology is talking about non-person. Somebody become nobody. How you make that nobody to somebody again. How you contribute to your theology in the process. That is theology. I came home and I just cried. And I started to read, God of oppressed. My soul looks bad. Black theology and black power. And what I wanted to say is that this is the first professor ever in my life. I don't need to explain what hurts me most. He just knew. When I work with my white professors, I have to explain who I am, why I'm thinking this way, why I want to study about this. I don't have to say anything to James Cone if I say, I want to write about this. And he just knew why I want to write about this. It's like epistemology of broken body, epistemology of the oppressed. He just knew. So he changed this German profundity of theological orientation into true theology of liberation. And he also told me, you know what? I do not write theology which my mother cannot understand. My mother just went elementary school. And I look at my mother, even my mother even didn't go to elementary school. My mother never been to any school in her life. I think that's why she's so healthy and happy. She's 104 years old. Wow. And she's still kicking and screaming. Maybe her no education made her so strong. And I always remember that what is a writing which even my illiterate mother can understand. So I think about theology form not just in writing, written. What is theology form which can empower people who do not know letters? So today we have this opening of a portrait of James Cone. My appreciation for him is just cry. No words, just what he did to me and so many generations of theologians, especially people from the oppressed community. Your epistemology, your knowledge has equal and more validity to change the world. I never get that affirmation from any other professor. So that is a great gift. Even when I had a PhD dissertation, it was a very big controversial because I refused to quote any German theologian, even any male theologian. So all my resources came from Asian women's resources. They are not professional theologians. So there are very big controversy. Can you write a PhD dissertation out of non-scholars' writing? I said clearly yes, because those are the people I'm going to work with. So why I have to follow your step? And I don't think whether if there is no James Chung, my dissertation would ever have passed at Union Theological Seminary. Because he was my advisor. He pushed that. Yes, you can do it. Maybe you are the first one who is doing Asian women's liberation theology out of grassroots women's writing. So when I look back, yeah, he was my shame of Catholics. Poor person who was a Catholic priest. He's not a famous person. But when I saw him, I only saw his, not even face, his back. But I felt, I know that back. And only thing I want is, I want to embrace that person. And what he taught me is theology is also very deeply embodied spirituality. Without that, I don't know what it is, maybe vibration. So your body has to tell people that you are what you believe. So that was real shames in my life, and I'm sure all of you have that encounter. And we have to honor that encounter, the mystical encounter coming through people in our life.